so much for continuous 8 hours, but it happens. At least it was at the start of a new section. Just a second. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Streamlabs, for announcing it. Okay, can you guys hear me? Is everything in order? Apologies for that. Of 8 hours is not bad. No technical issues, so just gonna continue the last portion separately. Just there. Start reading about 5 minutes there. Yes, I am back. Yeah, I think it's the first time it actually happened that Streamlabs desktop itself crashed, and yeah, I was forced to restart it. Therefore restart the stream. Consequently, I also had to stop the stream on YouTube, and I cannot simply resume it because apparently I have to make a whole new so-called event, and that would be too much of a hassle, so I'm just gonna immediately upload on YouTube this final portion. It's okay, I mean, 7 out of 8 hours is not bad. Luckily, my voice is low because when it restarted, the filter was deactivated. So let me make some adjustments. I think this works better. You should be able to hear both my voice and the fireplace, as well as the rain. Okay. Now that that's settled, let's start the final section of today's ASMR, and that will be soft-spoken story reading, the stories that I looked up earlier, in fact. And yes, I have this big book in front of me because, well, I imagine I would read from a giant storybook that contains many, many different stories. And I also summoned my kitsune bee, my fox spider, to, add some extra immersion. That's probably what you're hearing right now. So let's get comfortable. At any point you feel like falling asleep, then feel free to do so. Thank you for being here with me for all these almost 8 hours now. I really appreciate it. Okay, fire has been enhanced. Okay. Let's start with this one because the title really intrigued me, and I think it intrigued you guys as well. It's called Sitting Next to a Scary Yakuza. Doesn't say who the author is, maybe at the bottom. No, it's just seemingly random short story. Once upon a quiet, moonlit night in the bustling streets of Tokyo, there sat a humble businessman named Takeshi. He had just finished a long day at work, and the weight of the world had pressed upon his shoulders. The city's neon lights illuminated his very face, as he found himself sitting next to a fearsome Yakuza boss named Hiroshi. Takeshi had never imagined he would be in such a situation, but sometimes life has a funny way of weaving its own tales. Hiroshi, known for his cold demeanor and inked body, was as fearsome as the rumors suggested, with a reputation that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to speak his name. But on this particular night, a strange twist of fate had brought them together in a quiet, dimly lit jazz bar tucked away in the labyrinthine streets of Tokyo. The gentle hum of soft jazz filled the air, creating an unexpected harmony in an otherwise tense atmosphere. Takeshi, feeling a mix of nervousness and curiosity, decided to break the ice. Hiroshi-san, I've heard stories about you. You're a man of great influence and power, aren't you? Hiroshi glanced at Takeshi with a faint, enigmatic smile. His eyes, concealed by sunglasses, seemed to hide 1,000 untold stories. You've heard correctly, he replied, his voice low and measured. As the night wore on, the two men found themselves engrossed in conversation, discussing topics far from the criminal underworld. Hiroshi spoke of his love for classical music, and Takeshi revealed his passion for vintage motorcycles. It was a night of revelations, where the lines that usually separated their worlds began to blur. The jazz band played on, and the soothing melodies transported Takeshi and Hiroshi to a different realm, a world where they were just two men, sharing their dreams and fears. Hiroshi, for the first time, felt something different. He had a reputation to uphold, but in Takeshi's company, he could be himself without pretense or fear of judgment. Takeshi, too, felt a connection he had never expected. Underneath Hiroshi's fearsome facade was a man yearning for a different life. They talked about their childhoods, their dreams, and the paths they had taken. They discovered they had more in common than they could ever have imagined. The night passed slowly, and as the jazz band's final notes faded into the stillness of the early morning, Takeshi and Hiroshi realized that they had formed a bond, an unlikely friendship that transcended their worlds. With a nod of respect, Hiroshi stood up, ready to leave. Takeshi, though reluctant, understood that this was where their paths diverged. Hiroshi-san, I'll never forget this night. Takeshi said with sincerity. Hiroshi nodded in agreement. Nor will I, Takeshi-san. The Yakuza boss disappeared into the Tokyo night, leaving Takeshi with a newfound sense of serenity. As he made his way back home, he couldn't help but smile, for he had discovered that even the most fearsome individuals could harbor the most unexpected kindness and humanity. And so, Takeshi drifted off to sleep with a sense of peace and relaxation, knowing that sometimes, in the most unlikely of places, and with the most unexpected companions, one can find solace and connection in the unlikeliest of places, even next to one scary Yakuza. The end. This was a nice little wholesome story. Yes, this is a short story. And yeah, it certainly does leave some open question, doesn't it, Dragon? And yeah, makes you wanting for more, but who knows, maybe in the future there will be additional stories. Then again, it's like this was published on the 17th of October 2023, so over a year ago now, but yeah, it does make you think about sometimes to look behind, or not just sometimes, but you should always look behind the surface and see more than just what's on the outside. Next one is called The Egyptian Quest for Immortality. I actually read this earlier in my Unintelligible Whisper section, but now I'm gonna properly read it and enunciate it as I should. The Egyptian Quest for Immortality. Once upon a time, in the land of ancient Egypt, there lived a skilled archaeologist named Dr. Alexandria Thorne. Dr. Thorne had dedicated her life to uncovering the mysteries of the past, and her greatest dream was to unlock the secrets of immortality hidden beneath the majestic pyramids. One fateful day, as the sun cast long shadows across the golden sands of the desert, Dr. Thorne and her team embarked on an expedition that would change their lives forever. They had received a cryptic message from an anonymous source hinting at the existence of a hidden chamber beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza, a chamber said to contain the secrets of the afterlife itself. The archaeologists set up their camp near the base of the pyramid, their tents illuminated by the soft glow of the lanterns. As night fell, the stars twinkled above, guiding them on their quest. Dr. Thorne and her team ventured into the pyramid, navigating dark and winding passages illuminated only by the flickering light of torches. Ancient hieroglyphs adorned the walls, telling stories of pharaohs and gods, and hinting at the path to immortality. As they delved deeper, they encountered treacherous traps, cunningly hidden by the architects of the past. Dr. Thorne's heart raced as they carefully stepped over pressure plates and avoided falling sand traps. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached a massive stone door, adorned with intricate carvings and inscriptions. Dr. Thorne's heart swelled with anticipation as she began deciphering the hieroglyphs, slowly uncovering the secrets of the chamber beyond. Inside, they discovered a room bathed in a soft, ethereal light, its walls adorned with shimmering gold and precious gems. In the center of the room stood an ornate sarcophagus, encrusted with jewels and inlaid with intricate patterns. Dr. Thorne approached the sarcophagus, her fingers trembling with excitement as she opened it. Inside lay the mummified remains of an ancient pharaoh, surrounded by an array of precious artifacts and scrolls. As Dr. Thorne carefully examined the scrolls, she realized they contained the key to achieving immortality. They described rituals and incantations that, when performed correctly, would grant the power to transcend death and life and live eternally. Dr. Thorne and her team decided to leave the chamber untouched, respecting the ancient pharaoh's resting place. They returned to the surface, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of wonder and serenity. As they gazed upon the starlit desert, they understood that the quest for immortality was not about defying death, but about cherishing the beauty of life. Soft, soothing desert wind. Oh, this is a description of the sound effect. They knew that the true path to eternity lay in the memories they created, the knowledge they shared, and the love they gave. Dr. Thorne and her team returned to their camp, their hearts and minds at peace. They lay under the vast desert sky, ancient pyramids towering above, and drifted into a tranquil sleep, knowing that in the realm of dreams they could explore the mysteries of the past and embrace the serenity of the present. As the desert winds whispered their lullaby, we found solace in the timeless embrace of night, drifting away into the realm of dreams and the promise of a new day. Good night, my dear friend. May your dreams be filled with ancient wonders and eternal serenity. Okay, that's a nice story, but I am left a bit confused because it feels like incomplete. Like it describes how they found a scroll with incantations and then they just returned to the surface and they suddenly realized what's more important and then they just drifted into sleep. Yeah. Like, I guess maybe the allegory was that the secret to transcending life is to understand its beauty, like the beauty of nature and embracing our dreams. Yeah. Is this AI generated? Hold on, let me listen to the audio. I'll let you guys listen to it as well. Let's see who did it better.
Unlock the secrets of immortality hidden beneath the majestic pyramids. One fateful day, as the sun cast long shadows across the golden sands of the desert, Dr. Thorne and her...
Okay, that sounds like a text-to-speech episode. I feel like this has been generated by ChatGPT or something. Okay, let me look for the other side. could make it a so-called parody of story reading. If the next ones end up being AI generated as well, yeah, I think having a theme here. Oh, hello, Bibli. Long time no see. How you doing? Oh, I saw the tweet during my break. Congratulations on your award. Yes, you got the VTuber Musician Award in the Hidden VTuber Awards. Can we get a... Yep, thank you, Mao. She's ahead of me. There we go. Okay. We sent her some love. Okay. Now let's get to this next story and let's see if this is AI generated as well. It's called The Gift of the Magi. In the modest apartment in New York City, a young couple, Della and Jim, lived in humble circumstances but shared an immeasurable love for each other. Each possessed a prized possession. Della had her beautiful, long, cascading hair, and Jim had a gold watch passed down to him by his grandfather. Huh? It describes that Della had her hair as a possession, so... Okay. This is also AI generated, isn't it? As Christmas approached, both Della and Jim wanted to buy the other a special gift but found themselves short on money. They were determined to find a way to give something worthy of their love. Oh wait, I know this story, but it's with a comb, right? One day, as Della was looking into a mirror, an idea struck her. She went to a nearby hair salon and, with a heavy heart, sold her beautiful hair for $20. With the money, she went to the store and found the perfect platinum chain for Jim's watch. She thought about how splendid it would look against his vest at the office. Meanwhile, Jim was watching a plan of his own. He went to a local pawn shop and sold his precious watch. With the money he received, he bought a set of elegant combs for Della's lovely hair, which he had seen her eyeing longingly in a shop window some time ago. On Christmas Eve, the two exchanged their gifts. Della presented Jim with a platinum chain, and Jim handed Della the beautiful combs. As they opened their gifts, the realization dawned upon them. Della no longer had her long hair to use the combs, and Jim no longer had his watch to use with the chain. There was a brief moment of silence, and then Jim smiled, his eyes moist. "Oh, Della," he said, pulling her into the embrace. "Let's put our gifts away for a while. They're too young, nice to use now." Della laughed, tears in her eyes. "I love you, Jim. We may not have much, but we have each other." Their actions spoke of love that valued sacrifice over material possessions. For in their willingness to give up their most cherished belongings for the other, they had given each other the most precious gift of all, a testament to their love. And as they sat close, the warmth of their bond filling the room, it was clear that while they might have been short on money, they were immeasurably rich in love. Okay. Oh, there's a note here. Oh, it's actually written by someone. "Oh, Henry, the gift of the Magi serves as a poignant reminder that it's not the material value of a gift that matters, but the love and sacrifice behind it. The story beautifully captures the essence of selfless giving and the true spirit of Christmas." I wonder why it's called the gift of the Magi, though. Like Magi as in mages, magicians. Okay. night that Aaron took the wheel. Okay, let me read the synopsis here real quick. It says this cool bedtime story is perfect for young adults who are starting to taste the nectar of independence. Alright, let's hear it then. In the bustling town of Crestwood, Aaron, a 17-year-old with wavy brown hair and a penchant for indie rock, was gearing up for a summer adventure. His parents had always been protective, especially after a minor mishap he had when he was younger. It wasn't anything serious, but it left a lasting impression on them. One morning, after weeks of persuasion and promises of being careful, Aaron's parents finally gave him permission to drive to a music festival in a neighboring town with his friends. He felt a rush of excitement and the weight of responsibility all at once. This was his chance to prove he could handle independence. Cindy, Aaron's next-door neighbor and a close friend since childhood, was a tad cautious. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern as they packed the car. "I mean, it's a long drive and all." Aaron flashed her a confident smile. "We've got this. Plus, we prepared, right? Checked the car and mapped the route. It'll be an adventure." The journey was filled with laughter, loud music, and the thrill of the open road. However, as night approached and they drove through unfamiliar winding paths, a dense fog began to settle. Aaron felt a twinge of anxiety. The road was harder to see, and the signs were no longer as clear. Cindy noticed his grip tighten on the steering wheel. "Maybe we should pull over and wait for the fog to clear?" Aaron hesitated. The idea of admitting he wasn't sure didn't sit well with him. But he remembered his promise of being responsible. Taking a deep breath, he said, "You might be right. Better safe than sorry." He found a small diner by the roadside and decided to grab a bite. As they sipped on hot cocoa and chatted, Aaron realized something. Independence wasn't just about doing things on your own. It was also about making the right decisions, even if it meant admitting uncertainty. The fog eventually lifted, and the duo continued their trip, reaching the festival just in time to catch their favorite band's performance. The music was electric, but the real magic was in the moments and lessons learned. At night, under the canopy of stars, Aaron and Cindy celebrated not just the music, but also the path to growing up and the wisdom in understanding one's limits. Okay, that was a nice enough story. I mean, it feels a bit superficial, like, okay, the big danger was that there was fog and it was difficult to drive, so it's best to pull over and then continue the journey later, I guess. Oh, this one sounds fun. Married by accident. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, there's multiple parts to it. Oh, but they are all together, part 1 and part 2. Okay. Yeah, I guess you're used by now to foggy weather in the UK, huh? It's like basic. One of the first things you learn when you learn to drive, right? What to do in foggy weather. Alright, so married by accident. Actually, first let me drink some water. I could feel my throat getting a bit dry. It was another long Saturday night for Emily, filled with overtime at work. She felt exhausted, and the thought of spending the evening alone was enough to make her dizzy. Yeah, for those who don't understand, I had a vampire roleplay earlier. Distant thump of music beckoned from the neighborhood bar, and without a second thought, she found herself ordering a beer. Taking a seat in the corner booth, she turned to face away from the dance floor. She craved a bit of solitude, but paradoxically didn't want to be entirely alone. Her life had become a monotonous cycle of work and more work, with little room for fun or social interaction. Tonight, she was determined to break free from that routine, even if just for a little while. Little did she know that this Saturday night would be different, a turning point she never expected. As the server arrived with Emily's beer, an unforeseen mishap occurred. A stranger accidentally bumped into the table, causing the glass to topple and spill all over Emily. This was certainly not how she has envisioned her night unfolding. I'm so sorry, stammered the handsome stranger, his face turning a shade of crimson as he genuinely expressed his remorse. Surprisingly, Emily didn't react with anger. Instead, she calmly picked up her drenched Herschel bag and said, "That's okay." It felt refreshing, before breaking into laughter. "Let me make it up to you," Dave implored, a determined glint in his eyes. "My name is Dave," he said with a warm smile, "and I promise to make this night memorable for you." What a pickup line. "I won't say it's nice to meet you yet," Emily replied with a subtle smile on her face. "You still have to prove your worth. I'm Emily." Dave appreciated Emily's directness and strong demeanor. She met his gaze unwaveringly, a trait that intrigued him. She was straightforward and sincere, qualities he didn't often encounter. "Let's start by ordering another drink for you," Dave suggested. "The same?" "Sure, I didn't even get a sip of my beer before you dropped it," Emily replied with a chuckle, her eyes still locked onto his. The night had taken an unexpected turn, but it was shaping up to be anything but ordinary. They danced the night away as if they were the only two souls on the dance floor. Emily marveled at how comfortable she felt with the stranger, while Dave couldn't shake the feeling that they had known each other forever. As the hours passed, their connection deepened. They chatted, laughed, and swayed to the music, losing themselves in the rhythm of the moment. Neither of them cared how they ended up in the corner emergency chapel, where a priest married people who wouldn't wait to join their lives. This was probably in Vegas. The combination of beer and tequila shots was taking its toll. The next morning, Emily was the first to awaken, her eyes fluttering open to find herself in the city's finest hotel room. She had no recollection of the previous night's event, let alone how she had ended up in that room. Thankfully, her clothing was intact, offering a glimmer of relief that nothing had transpired to be ashamed of. She grabbed her purse and, without a word of farewell, fled the room. Dave stirred awake to an empty bed, a blur of memories from the previous night flashing throughout his mind. He couldn't quite piece together how he had made it to the room, but one thing was certain. It had been a night to remember. A subtle knock on the door pulled Dave back to reality. He checked the time on his watch and sighed, realizing, I have to run. I have an investor meeting at 11 a.m. Boss, breakfast is ready, Dave's bodyguard and friend chimed in, trying to lighten the mood. How does it feel to be newlywed? Colin asked with a mischievous grin. What are you talking about? Dave responded, surprise evident in his expression. Oh, you don't remember? Colin replied with a sigh. I tried to stop you, but you wouldn't listen. What have I done? Dave asked, panic creeping into his voice. And where is she? I can barely remember her name, only that we had such fun. You've got me as a witness. I tried to stop you, but you weren't yourself, Colin affirmed. Dave tried to regain his composure. Don't worry, we'll figure this out later today, he assured Colin, determined to unravel the mystery of the previous night's unexpected turn of events. She was possessed. They arrived at a restaurant where Dave was meeting the investors, a good 10 minutes early. Dave took the opportunity to order a coffee and savor a moment of tranquility. It was a quiet Sunday morning, and investors would be flying back to England later that night. Although I have to make a British accent now. I don't think I can. Dave knew the importance of being fresh for his pitch. Hadn't reached his current position through sheer luck. He was smart and hard-working. As his mom used to say, he had a Midas touch, which he'd reply, yes mom, he's working for me. Wow, it's kinda cringe. Dave turned to Colin with urgency in his voice. Make sure to find out everything about the girls from last night. Everything. He emphasized the important... Why did he say girls, like plural? He emphasized the importance of gathering information. Meanwhile, Emily arrived at her apartment, utterly confused about what had transpired the night before. She had no recollection of how she had ended up in that hotel room. Glad to be home, she thought to herself. After a relaxing warm bath and a simple breakfast of scrambled eggs, coffee and a toast, she set out to attend the 10 a.m. mass. She had promised her Aunt Rose that she would join her for church that morning. Emily couldn't wait to talk to Rose, her aunt and confidant. Rose had an uncanny ability to say the right things at the right times, and Emily was immensely grateful to have her in her life. You won't believe what happened last night, Emily whispered with a subtle smile. For someone with that look on your face, it seems like you met a prince, Rose replied, lowering her voice as the priest continued with the sermon. You have to tell me everything after we finish here. Another part of the city, amidst the towering buildings of big business, Dave successfully sealed the deal with the investors who had agreed to buy his company for nothing less than a fortune. This turn events would make Dave the newest billionaire in the city. Though he was elated by what was unfolding, he couldn't get Emily out of his mind. When Colin arrived in the black Mercedes to pick him up, the first thing Dave asked was for information. Colin had revisited the bar from the night before. The server who had attended to Dave and Emily was opening the bar, and she willingly shared everything she knew about Emily, as they were familiar with each other from the neighborhood. Emily was a decent young woman, working multiple jobs to help her parents cover the medical bills from her father's heart operation the previous year. Despite having an engineering degree, her pay was insufficient, and she occasionally bartended the same bar where they met. She lived just a couple of buildings down from the bar, and her next bartending shift was scheduled for Wednesday night. She definitely had a lot to say. I didn't have to pry much. Shuffled up all the information willingly, Colin reported to Dave. I guess Colin used some of his bodyguard charm on her. Emily hurriedly urged Rose to leave the church, and they were the first to exit. You won't believe what happened last night, Rose, Emily confessed, her anxiety palpable. I messed up big time. Wait, so she does remember? Like in the beginning we heard that she doesn't remember. Anyway, I analyzed later. Come on, don't overreact. Everything has a solution. I'm sure it wasn't a big deal, Rose assured her. I think I got married last night, but I'm not 100% sure, Emily admitted, her voice trembling with uncertainty. You did what? Rose exclaimed, completely taken aback by the revelation. Emily proceeded to recount everything that had transpired to the best of her recollection and understanding. Rose, after hearing the story, didn't waste any time. We need to go to the chapel and find out what really happened. Let's go, there's no time to waste. Upon arriving at the chapel, Emily's doubts were swiftly dispelled. She had indeed married Dave Campbell the previous night. Oh, sweetie, what have you done? Rose burst into laughter. You must be kidding me. Better keep this a secret and work on fixing this mess. That's the end of part 1. And now we're at part 2. Emily couldn't believe the whirlwind of the past 24 hours. With Rose's laughter still ringing in her ears, they headed to a nearby cafe to gather their thoughts. The shock of the unexpected marriage to a man she barely knew was overwhelming, but Emily found a strange comfort in Rose's support. Okay, let's think this through, Rose said, taking a sip of her coffee. We need to figure out how to contact this Dave and sort everything out. Meanwhile, back in his office, Dave was preoccupied with thoughts of Emily. Despite the significant deal he had just closed, his mind kept drifting back to her. He picked up his phone and dialed Colin. Any luck finding more details? Dave asked, trying to mask his impatience. Yes, boss, Colin replied. I have her address and some more information. She works the bar a couple of times a week and has an engineering degree. Sounds like she's been through a lot. Dave nodded, absorbing the information. Good. I need to see her. Set up a meeting with her tonight. Let's be discreet about it. Later that evening, Emily was back at her apartment, nervously pacing. The day's events had been surreal, but she couldn't shake the feeling of impending chaos. Just as she was about to call it a night, her phone rang. It was an unknown number. Hello? She answered cautiously. Emily, it's Dave, came the familiar voice on the other end. We need to talk. Emily's heart skipped a beat. Dave, I agree. Can we meet somewhere public? Wait, didn't Dave ask Colin to set up the meeting? Is Colin slacking? Why is Dave himself calling? Or is Colin disguising himself as Dave? I'm overthinking it. How about a cafe near your place? In 30 minutes, Dave suggested. Alright, Emily replied. Almost, Wait, I looked at chat and I suddenly lost my place. First I almost... yeah. About cafe near your place in 30 minutes, Dave suggested. Alright, Emily replied, her voice steadying. I'll see you there. 30 minutes later, Emily found herself seated at a small table in the cafe, her fingers nervously tapping on the surface. I'm tapping my phone right now for immersion. She looked up just in time to see Dave walk in, his presence commanding the room. He spotted and made his way over, determined look on his face. Emily, he said, sitting down across from her. First of all, I want to apologize for everything that happened last night. It was all so unexpected. Emily nodded, her eyes searching his. I appreciate that, Dave, but we need to figure out what to do next. We can't just pretend this didn't happen. Dave sighed. a hand through his hair. You're right. I think we need to take a step back and really consider our options. I don't want to rush into anything without thinking it through. Emily appreciated his measured approach. Agreed. Maybe we can start by getting an annulment. Seems like the logical first step. Yes, that makes sense, Dave replied. But I don't want to just end this and walk away. I feel like there's something more here, something worth exploring. If you're open to it. Emily was taken aback by his sincerity. Despite the bizarre circumstances, she couldn't deny the connection they had felt. Let's take it one step at a time, Dave. We'll handle the annulment first and see where things go from there. Dave smiled, relief washing over him. That sounds like a plan. Thank you, Emily, for being so understanding. As they parted ways that evening, both Emily and Dave felt a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. The unexpected turn of events had brought them together in a way neither of them could have anticipated. And while the future was uncertain, they both were willing to see where this unlikely journey might lead. Back at her apartment, Emily felt a sense of calm for the first time in days. She knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but with Rose's unwavering support and Dave's genuine intention, she felt ready to face whatever came next. She glanced at the clock, realizing that tomorrow was another day filled with responsibilities and challenges. But tonight, she allowed herself a moment of peace, knowing that she wasn't alone in this journey. And this is the end. Part 2. So, I mean, in the end it could have been a little more exciting, I guess. Like, if you have seen Friends, you know how Ross and Rachel's sudden chapel wedding all ended, but yeah. Yeah, that's it. I mean, maybe they will have a part 3 eventually. It's like, yeah, the first part was written in 2023 and second part was sometime in May. So maybe this year we'll have part 3. But it does beg for more, like, will they actually become friends and have a normal relationship and then get married for good? There's a link here to something called The Love That Couldn't Be, so I wonder if this is the continuation of it, or... No, this seems to be a whole other story. But since I clicked on it, let's... And yeah, February 14 feels like it's just around the corner, so why not read more about the wonders of love? Love that couldn't be. In the quaint coastal town of Serenity Cove, a love story unfolded that defied all odds. Alex and Mia were two souls destined to be together, yet circumstances had conspired to keep them apart. Their love story began on a balmy summer evening by the sea. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the beach. Alex, a talented musician, strummed his guitar, serenading the waves, while Mia, an aspiring marine biologist, conducted her research on the shoreline. Their paths crossed when Mia stumbled upon a stranded dolphin calf. With a sense of urgency, she began to assess the situation, while Alex's gentle melodies played in the background. "Hey there, little one," Mia whispered to the dolphin as she worked to free it from a tangled fishing nets. She glanced up, her eyes meeting Alex's, and there was an instant connection, a recognition of their fates were intertwined. Both Over the next few months, their bond deepened. Wait, what happened to the dolphin? You can't just leave it at that. Over the next few months, their bond deepened. They met at sunrise on the beach, sharing dreams, secrets, and stolen kisses. Their love grew like the waves, crashing against the shore with a force that couldn't be denied. One evening, they sat on a weathered wooden pier, their feet dancing above the gently lapping waves. Alex's fingers plucked the strings of his guitar as he sang the heartfelt melody. I wish we could be together, Mia, Alex confessed, his voice filled with longing. Mia sighed, her gaze fixed on the horizon. I know, Alex, but my work here is essential. I can't leave these beautiful creatures behind. Their love was a bittersweet melody, a beautiful symphony tainted by the discord of circumstance. Mia's dedication to the dolphins and the sea was unwavering, and Alice respected her commitment. As the seasons changed, they found solace in their stolen moments together, cherishing the love that grew stronger with every passing day. So they kept seeing each other even though she said we can't be together. So they kept it casual. Yet there was a growing sense of inevitability in their hearts, an understanding that their love might never be fully realized. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves began to fall, they stood on the same beach where their love had blossomed. The moonlight danced on the water, casting a magical spell over the world. I love you, Mia, Alex whispered, his trembling voice with emotion. Okay, let me do that again because later I read that this is supposed to be a whisper. I love you, Mia. Alex whispered, his voice trembling with emotion. Mia leaned into him, tears glistening in her eyes. I love you too, Alex, more than words can express. Oh, Mom. And then, in the soft glow of the moonlight, they shared a tender, lingering kiss. A kiss that held all the love, longing, and heartache of their forbidden love. Forbidden? There's nothing forbidden, she just wants to focus on her career. Their paths diverged as life carried them in different directions, but the love they shared remained an indelible part of their souls. In the distance, the sound of Alex's guitar still echoed by the sea, a haunting reminder of the love that couldn't be. A love that was destined to remain forever entangled with the tides of Serenity Cove. Just thought I would play Yuri's guitar there again to add to the mood, but okay. Average rating 4 out of 5. I mean, that's what I would give. Like, it has beautiful description, but yeah, it's too short, not enough development, and they speak about this forbidden love as if though there was just no way they couldn't be together. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of sad when there's a couple that want to be together but they can't be together because one or maybe both of them want to focus on their careers. I don't know. I would never, says I, a single guy, but I don't think I would ever choose my work over companionship. So, I don't know. It's to each their own. Secretly tough, it don't make sense. Yeah, I suppose so. Okay, the guitar. Let's see. Can we find a more cheerful story? One that's not about forbidden love. Oh, that sounds pretty wholesome. And it's pretty short too. So if this doesn't work out, we can find something new. But the rating is 4.9 out of 7 ratings, so there's not a large sample size, but still. Okay, let's see. Once upon a time, in a world not so different from our own, there lived two souls, Eleanor and James. They had crossed paths many times, but it wasn't until a starry night when the moon hung low and the world seemed hushed that their love story truly began. Eleanor, with her hazel eyes that sparkled like the night sky, worked as a librarian. She spent her days surrounded by books, finding solace in the stories within their pages. James, on the other hand, was a musician, poured his heart into every note he played. One evening, Eleanor attended a small, intimate concert where James was performing. As his fingers danced across the strings of the guitar, Eleanor felt melody resonate within her heart. After the performance, their eyes met across the dimly lit room, and it was as if the universe has whispered its approval. They began to spend time together, talking about life, dreams, and their shared love for art. Each conversation felt like a journey to the depths of their souls. Slowly they unraveled the layers of their hearts, revealing their vulnerabilities, hopes, and fears. One autumn evening they found themselves stargazing in a meadow, wrapped in blankets, under a canvas of twinkling stars. The night breeze carried their whispered confessions, and they realized that they had fallen deeply in love. Their love story was not without its challenges, as life often throws obstacles in the path of love. But Eleanor and James faced them together, hand in hand, knowing that their love was worth every trial. As the years passed, Eleanor and James continued to make music and explore the world together. Their love was a timeless melody, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. And so, dear reader, whether you are beginning your own love story or reminiscing about the beauty of love, remember that love, like Eleanor and James, is a journey worth taking. It can fill the quiet moments of the night with the sweetest of dreams. Good night, and may your dreams be as beautiful as their love story. It was pretty sweet, but if I were to criticize it, this felt like just a summary, like it was very vague, like it described in short how their relationship began, but there were not enough details. It seems like it could have been just about anyone's story, but it's alright, I suppose. Okay, maybe we can find something that's more about fantasy. That's getting rid of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my feeling exactly now. Yeah. Okay. Storytelling, then and kept existence with gas and whisper under the valley each night with the stars and the inside the cracking fire, okay, immersion. Stories dance about on system. Use adventure, mystery, and lessons about living in the present, highlighting the magic of storytelling and the power of dreams. Okay. How long is the story? Okay, a little bit longer than the previous ones. There's a rating of 4.5. Let's see. It may even be the last one for today. I think I'll be back with more in the future. Once upon a time, in a land where the stars shone brighter than anywhere else in the world, there existed a hidden valley known only to those who dare to dream beyond the ordinary. This valley was home to the whispering trees, ancient guardians of secret wisdom and enchanting tales. In a small, cozy cottage at the edge of the mystical valley lived an old storyteller named Alien. He was no ordinary man. His stories had the power to transport listeners to worlds unknown, filled with adventure, mystery, and magic. Every night, as the moon rose high and the stars twinkled in a symphony, people from distant lands would gather around the fire in front of Alien's cottage, eager to embark on a journey through his worlds. On such night, as a gentle breeze played with the embers of the fire, Alien began a tale that had never been told before. He spoke of a mysterious realm hidden within the folds of the night sky, a place called Lunaris. In Lunaris, the moon governed the ebb and flow of time, and the inhabitants lived in harmony with the celestial rhythms. The protagonist of this story was Lysandra, a brave and curious soul who had discovered a map hidden in an ancient book, which revealed the path to Lunaris. Unlike others, Lysandra didn't fear the unknown. She was driven by a deep desire to explore and understand the mysteries of the universe. With Alien's words painting vivid images in their minds, the listeners saw Lysandra embark on a perilous journey, navigating through the sea of shadows, a vast ocean where the water mirrored the starlit sky, making it impossible to distinguish between the sea and the heavens. After many trials and encounters with fantastical creatures, Lysandra reached Lunaris, which fantastical creatures. There she discovered a society where time flowed in reverse, where people grew younger with each passing day. The Lunarians, as they were known, taught her the secret of living in the present, embracing them each moment as a unique and fleeting treasure. As Lysandra's adventure unfolded, Alien's audience was captivated, feeling as they too were walking the streets of Lunaris, experiencing its wonders and learning its secrets. The story was not just a tale of adventure, but a reminder of the beauty of life's journey, the importance of curiosity, and the magic of living in the now. As the story reached its end, with Lysandra returning home wiser and with a heart full of memories, the listeners found themselves back in the valley, the fire of soft glow. They realized that while the journey through the story had ended, the lessons and feelings it evoked would stay with them forever. Alien smiled knowingly, his eyes twinkling like the stars above, had once again woven a tale that not only entertained, but also enlightened. The night was still young, the whispering trees seemed to murmur in approval. And so, as the audience dispersed under a starry sky, each carrying a piece of Lunaris in their hearts, Alien whispered to the night, "Until the next story, my friends." In the land of spring trees, every story was an adventure, every night a journey, and every listener left with a little more wonder in their soul. And Alien, the master storyteller, continued to weave his tale, night after enchanting night, under the ever-watchful, ever-mysterious cosmic dance, the stars. The end. Okay, so we have our classic story within a story, but again, the story that's within the story seems to be lacking some crucial details and proper development. But I do like the wording, it feels misplaced, like they could have just told the story of Lysandra, like the whole framing felt like they were just trying to fill time and pages. Anyway, it was beautiful, but I think I need to do my research a little better on these stories. I mean, it's like we are making more fun of them than actually enjoying them. Yeah, it is. Okay, I know I said one more last time, but I'm gonna stretch it until 2 a.m. like I said, so I think we have time for one more story. Oh boy, this is a read along. Let me check. Oh yeah, the reader is a text-to-speech voice. Yeah, they're not bad. Feels like a first draft to a novel or something like that. Okay, so the Midnight Cafe. Amara tossed and turned in her bed. She was 16, and the stress of school, friendships, and figuring out her future felt like a whirlwind. Looking at the clock, she saw it read 2 a.m. Huh, what a coincidence. In desperation for some peace, she pulled on a jacket and decided to take a walk. Wandering the streets, she stumbled upon a quaint little cafe with a sign that read, "The Midnight Cafe, open when you need it most." Curious, she stepped inside and was greeted by a soft tune from old jukebox. The cafe was dimly lit, with cozy nooks and a couple of patrons who looked as lost in thought as she felt. "First time here?" the voice asked. Amara turned to see a girl about her age, with bright blue hair and a knowing smile. "Yeah," Amara replied hesitantly. "Is it? Always open this late?" The blue-haired girl chuckled. "Only for those who really need it. I'm Leela, by the way." Amara smiled. "I'm Amara. This place is different." Leela nodded. "It's a sanctuary. Everyone here is looking for answers, solace, or just a good cup of coffee." The two of them sat down, and as the night wore on, they shared stories, dreams, fears, and aspirations. Amara learned that Leela wanted to be an artist, but she was scared of not being practical enough. Leela learned that Amara's dream of traveling and her fear of leaving her family behind. "You know," Leela mused, "sometimes it feels like our dreams are these huge, insurmountable mountains. But maybe it's just about taking that first step." Amara nodded, thinking of her walk tonight. "And maybe it's about finding the right people to walk with." As the first light of dawn started to peek through the cafe's window, Leela stood up. "It's time for me to head out. But I hope to see you again, Amara." Amara smiled. "Definitely, Leela. Take care." Stepping out of the cafe, the world seemed a little brighter for Amara. She realized that sometimes all you need is a new perspective, a good conversation, and perhaps a visit to a mysterious midnight cafe. The end. Oh, that was a cute little story, wasn't it? I do wonder. I mean, it's open to interpretation, I guess, whether this is just a story about friendship or more than friendship. Like, there's the theme of being lost and not knowing what you want, and the place being different. So I do wonder if this was meant to be a open-minded romance between two women, But I guess, yes, the moral of the story was more or less about trying to take that first step and not being overwhelmed by all your fears and anxieties. But yeah, I think that's a lovely story to end this on. Apologize again for the just say hello, yeah. Apologize again for the technical issue and that we couldn't make it a full 8 hour, but yeah, the total combined should more than make up for it. I'll put this on YouTube ASAP, so it's there together. As a concluding thought though, thank you again guys so much for supporting me. This stream, or streams rather, was meant as a reward for you guys, and hopefully a way to entertain and maybe even help you sleep. I think I will just end it here, and I'll see you guys then on Monday. Thank you all for joining me today. As always, remember that you are appreciated. Remember to take care of yourself and each other. Love each other, and I'll see you next time.